these dishonest media people, the most dishonest people. They said, oh, did he mean that? Didn't he mean that? The election is being rigged by corrupt media, pushing completely false allegations.
And I get nothing but bad press from the dishonest media.
Media isn't just against me, they're against all of you.
How many hours of free media does CNN and Fox and every other station, you let him call in and for a year?
Well, I gotta say,
$2 billion
we've asked you for interviews pretty much every day, and you've declined every offer on my program.
Donald Trump is like a car wreck or a car chase that everybody says they don't want to see, but they go like this because they want to see it.
As a TV news producer, I find this election to be especially challenging to cover because of Donald Trump. Like most journalists across the country, I find fairness and balance to be very important. I think all candidates deserve time to be covered, but the Republican nominee has made this very difficult because he says things that we've never heard a presidential candidate say before, and that's news.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists.
Donald Trump is a story unlike anything we've seen before. And I think because of the nature of that and just the newness of it, I think it kind of rises to the top, maybe more so than others.
Absolutely. This is Trump intentionally playing the media to get coverage.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
Politics has always been a soundbite-oriented thing. So when candidates say, oh, I don't like the fact that they're using that soundbite that I said when I'd rather talk about the issues, well, you know, you said it, so you clearly said it because you thought it was clever, so you can't complain when it's on TV.
Trump has provided the fodder for all of this that has come about. His words, his rhetoric, it's how can you not report when women come forward? How can you not report when he says what many consider to be outrageous things?
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
His idea was that if I get press, any press is good press, which is really right out of show business. I don't care what you write about me as long as you spell my name right. Because it keeps the name in lights, keeps people paying attention.
Good morning, America, and breaking right now, Donald Trump.
Tonight, with just 19 days to go, so many talking about Donald Trump.
How long must you watch the news to hear Trump's name?
Good morning, America, Donald Trump.
Many times it's less than 3 seconds.
Good evening, Donald Trump.
Good morning, America, Donald Trump.
Today, Donald Trump.
Good morning, America, breaking overnight, an avalanche of accusations against Donald Trump.
Good evening from Pittsburgh to Gettysburg, Donald Trump.
Good morning, America, breaking overnight, debate night stunner, Donald Trump.
Good morning, defiant Donald Trump.
Good morning, America, breaking overnight, Trump's tax bombshell.
Trump is the lead in almost every television newscast that I have seen in the last 6 months when it comes to political things. And I think it's about the fact that he's saying and doing outrageous things.
And it's not just the first minute of the show.
He has figured out a way to be everywhere all at once, as you point out, in multiple stories, in multiple ways.
When putting together a news show, there's a political section and a section for everything else. The Republican nominee is so media savvy, he often makes it into both sections. He talks about other topics in the news during his rallies in front of cameras, so there are always sound bites available on a wide range of topics.
Overnight, Donald Trump issuing his own hurricane warning.
It looks like it's a big one and it's going to be a bad one.
That could definitely be tough to balance out the show. It seems like a lot of the times Trump is always doing something, there's always saying something, and a lot of the times Hillary is off the campaign trail. And that can be difficult. You have to try to find, all right, where's Bill, where's Chelsea, where's Kane?
Data shows Trump gets much more evening news coverage than his Democratic rival. 62% of political coverage on ABC, NBC, and CBS is about the businessman in the general election.
1 week left. Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, where this race stands right now.
But back earlier this election season, there were more than 20 people running in the primaries, and they all had to fight to get covered.
I'm happy to answer our question, but let me tell you how.
I think it was a particular challenge because you had like a football team of Republican candidates in the beginning. I mean, there was so many, which was quite unprecedented, and all of them on stage, it seemed like almost like a circus in some ways.
The question of how to cover candidates who don't have high name recognition and haven't raised a lot of money is one of the hardest ones that journalists face.
When you have that large a field, how do you know who might rise out of the pack?
The television networks have always been badly positioned to cover any race where there are more than two people and where the people are going off script.
We have an advantage because we have no shortage of outlets, whether that's digital or cable or network. So I think there's a place to find a home for all sorts of coverage. So it's not a struggle that I see because, you know, I can go cover Jeb Bush just a few months ago and find a great home and get a lot of attention on a digital piece.
Your ratings tonight will be excellent, right? The debate you had were 23 million people. If I don't want to say this braggingly, I'm just telling you, if I weren't in it, you would have had, your decision? What, 4 million people?
Ratings did go up when Trump was doing a debate, earlier in the primary season particularly. Ratings went up when he was being interviewed, if you were able to promote it in advance. And people in the business pay attention to that sort of thing. So they did some things that we normally don't do.
Donald Trump joins us now on the phone. Mr. Trump, good morning.
Good morning.
We've always done some phone interviews, but not usually with major party candidates. We want them in the studio. We want to be able to see them eye to eye and talk with them.
I don't remember a campaign since I've been covering politics since 1976. So little was paid to any issues. You know, we used to do week-long, 2-week-long series on the issues. Where do the candidates stand on this or that? I haven't seen much of that.
This election is different in a lot of ways, that issues just aren't being discussed on the campaign trail as much, probably more on one side than the other.
When a TV producer says, well, they're not talking about it at the big rally in Cincinnati or in Chapel Hill, therefore we're not going to talk about it, that's actually following the candidate's agenda for how to create good TV optics. But there are other ways to pursue the candidates on issues because the candidates are in fact talking about these issues. They're just doing it on their websites or they're doing it through surrogates.
Just to give you a sense as to what we're dealing with at these rallies, Wolf, one Donald Trump supporters left this sign on a press table in the press pen. It shows a swastika and the word media.
You know, in the campaigns that I covered, I don't ever remember being threatened, spit on, yelled at.
And it is at times just getting downright scary. The people who are surrounding our press pen at the end of these rallies are really yelling some things at us that they would not want caught in a hot mic moment.
You know what they did? Crooked CNN. CNN is so disgusting. CNN. Oh! Look, their camera just shut off.
I think there's no question that he has, by himself, fueled a lot of that hatred.
He sort of eggs the crowd on to go after them. And there are a lot of young journalists. They're scared sometimes.
I know them all. I respect them all. I'm glad that they're.
He shouldn't be doing that. I mean, could you talk to him and say to him, Mr. Trump, you only have a few days left. These are hardworking young journalists. They deserve to have some security, if you will, because some of those Trump supporters out there, they get pretty nasty.
There are going to be PhD theses for years based on this election. And I would like to see some of those postmortems really look at ourselves, how we did it, why we did it the way we did it, and is there a way that we can do it better?
I think there'll be a full-throated re-examination of how campaigns are covered in the future as a result of this campaign.